Alright guys, if you haven't seen, AMG is putting out a new core box to be released this October, and I have foolishly committed to covering all 11 new characters in the core box, and this video is going to be about Spectacular Spider-Man. His stat block is 333, 5 hit points on both sides. He's a 3 threat, size 2 medium move. Swinging Strike, range 3, 5 dice. After this attack is resolved, gain 1 power, so it is a gainer. Wild Hit, Elusive, after this attack is resolved, you can move short. Impact Webbing, this is a range for 4 dice gainer with wild size 2 push. Before damage is dealt, push away. Web Head Wallop, range 2, 7 dice, 4 cost. Wild Hit Catch, after the attack is resolved, you may choose an interactive terrain feature of size 2 or less, and within 3 of this character, destroy it. The target character suffers collision as if the terrain feature had collided with it. So, hitting that trigger, big upside. And those are his 3 attacks. These all being gainers is really, really interesting. One of the major issues that Web Warriors have is their low access and especially their inconsistent access to power. I think the fact that you know exactly what you're getting out of every single attack you make with Spectacular Spider-Man is going to be really, really good, and I think going to really let you plan your play well. Unfortunately, that means that Web Head Wallop is not going to be a consistent part of your plan. He has Web Slinger, which is essentially Hook Arrow, places character within 3 of its current position. Superpower can be used once per turn for 2. A Proportionate Strength of a Spider, 3 cost. Character only, size 3 throw, from 3, throw short. This is identical to Medusa's throw, as really our only analogous example. He has Spider Senses, so reroll 2 defense or dodge dice against physical or energy attacks, and then he has Wall Crawler. So, I'm a little bit disconnected from Web Warriors. I played Web Warriors before S.H.I.E.L.D. came out, and they were my main faction. I played a ton of them. The thinking and how they're played, I think, has largely evolved. They've gotten much more fighty than they used to be. They used to be very, like, attack and run away. And also the meta has changed around them. Stuff is much more deadly than it used to be. And webs are kind of forced to fight. That being said, I like this guy's kit. He seems like a value scenario player. Being able to gain 1 power in the power phase, make 2 attacks, guaranteeing you the throw from range 3, and his gainers have range 3 or range 4. So the likelihood that this character can spend his turn double tapping, I think, is really, really high. Now, whether he's safe when he's doing that is a totally different story, but it seems really likely to me that he's going to be able to do his throw a lot, or he's going to be able to web swing a lot. And so I think this guy's play pattern is going to be hyper consistent. I think you're going to want to get an extract on him, and then he's going to play secure game. And I think it's just rock solid. It's really interesting that they teased in the panel to play that he is a S.H.I.E.L.D. character. So, like, first of all, I don't remember that happening or Spider-Man ever being related to S.H.I.E.L.D. But, you know, I love Spider-Man. I'll play Spider-Man. I don't think he makes my S.H.I.E.L.D. roster, but also S.H.I.E.L.D. is incredibly evolving right now. There is almost certainly an extracts and secures focused S.H.I.E.L.D. team that is not trying to fight you. And then by that same extension, there's a S.H.I.E.L.D. team that can go grab the extracts, and then when you commit to them, they kill you. And I think there's just a lot of exciting room to explore that, and I think Peter can fit into that. And he also kind of fits the mold of the, like, 3-threat S.H.I.E.L.D. model, where it has some kind of way to move itself. You know, like Bucky has Hydra Tactics, the Commandos have Siblings in Arms, Hawkeye has Hook Arrow, and this guy has Hook Arrow. And then, you know, he has a 4-die gun, and all of his stuff are gainers. A lot of S.H.I.E.L.D. attacks are gainers, which is part of what I like about S.H.I.E.L.D. and how consistent and how reliable my power gain is. Even if it's not as good as it possibly could be, it's consistent, and I know what I'm getting. So I like that about this character. I'm really interested to see where he is. The increased range on Swinging Strike means that he's a good user of all webbed up. The problem is all webbed up isn't going to flood him with power so that he can do his web head wallop. I think I need to see game after game of him, but my gut instinct is that this is a rock solid, no flash role playing 3. Spider-Man came with a tactics card called Go Get 'em Tiger. It's an unaffiliated reactive team tactics card. When an allied Peter Parker dazes or KOs a non-grunt enemy character, after the effect is resolved, Peter Parker may spend 2 power to play this card. If Peter is holding an objective token, he may remove 3 damage and 1 special condition. If Peter Parker is not contesting a secure objective token, he may advance short. This card is incredibly hard to rate because it is an incredibly powerful series of effects attached to a very conditional action. And it takes up a tactic card slot. So, healing 3, pulling a special condition, and advancing short, that is like 2 shield cards stapled together. And it only costs 2 power. Like, those are really, really good. Also, there's the fact that if you dazed or KO'd somebody with Peter Parker, you probably have 2 power. I think it'll be very rare where he kills somebody and has only 1. Right? Because ostensibly he did 1 damage. I guess it's like he could spend her all the way down and not be able to play it. But so I think it's likely that you will be able to play the card when the trigger happens. But how often does Peter Parker kill something while he's holding an extract and not standing on a secure? So if we look at the 3 Peter Parkers, Core isn't played at all in the meta. I think that's wrong. I like Core, but I also haven't played him outside of the affiliated matchup, and a lot of that just has to do with the competition in 4s. But I like Core Parker more than others. His buff is nice, but a lot of people don't think it was enough. Amazing Spider-Man I can't stand, but he is very popular, and in modern Spiders he's in like every list, or at least that's my read of the situation. Again, somewhat disconnected from Spiders. And then we have the new Parker, who has limited access to power, but is very mobile and is very able to move characters. So I think if you're an ASM fanboy, this is your card. This card's for you. Like, there's nothing more backbreaking than healing ASM for a lot of lists. The guy is 4/4/3, reroll all, and then is often in miles with an additional reroll and unlocked skulls. Like, the guy can be very hard to kill. Now, he also has power problems. But he also can consistently make 7-die builders. So, I don't know. I think the card is decent. The question is, how often are you going to be able to trigger Peter Parker dazing or KOing a non-grunt? You always have the webbed up turn to try to get both of those abilities. And then, the other thing about this card is that how often are you going to be able to trigger it when Amazing is damaged? I think it's good. I think if you're a Web Warrior player, this goes in your 10, at least for a little while. It's more defensive tech, it's more healing, it keeps your spiders in the fight longer. I think it is what you want. And it also can get you more speed. I think that part of it's just not going to be used that much, but it literally can also be a climbing gear where if you take your 5-die strike, tap an attack in, and then slide over to go get another guy. Okay. As far as affiliations, we know that he's almost certainly going to be a Web Warrior. I would be shocked if they ever printed a Peter Parker that was not a Web Warrior. I believe he's going to be S.H.I.E.L.D. based on the clues we got in the panel to play, because it said everything outside of here's the affiliation list. And the Peter Parkers are also affiliated with Defenders. Defenders is an unloved faction. I don't think this character is going to change Defenders at all. But I think you're going to see him in Web Warriors, at least experimentally. I think he does compete with the Web Warriors, and I think could just be an easy swap in for Black Cat on Researcher, being able to throw size 3s and push the size 2 off. That's the other thing about this character is, if this character's dice go well, he could start on a point, Impact webbing a guy off the point, impact webbing a guy off the point, throw a third guy off the point. And that's assuming he started the turn on 0 power, made 1 in the power phase, and then 2 with his 2 gainers. So the economy is the part of this character that I'm most interested in. As far as factions, I think you see him in Web Warriors. Maybe there's a spot in Shield, but he doesn't play into the new energy thing they've got going on. And when you compare him to Hawkeye, he has like similar damage to Hawkeye, but has to get closer and can't like Yahtzee into power for Helios. So I think Hawkeye is still going to favor him, and obviously he's much more durable than Hawkeye. A whole hit point, and he has the rerolls versus, and he's what, 3/3/3 instead of 4/2/2. But what do you guys think? Are you guys going to play new Peter Parker in your faction? Let me know in the comments down below. Hit that subscribe button because I'm doing one of these for every single model. And don't forget that fun is a finite resource.